Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Getting Started webinar. My name is Kyle. I'm excited to join you guys today and give you a little bit of the lay of the land where Copysmith is concerned. So a little bit of a Zoom lay of the land real quick. Today we're going to be using the chat feature. So if you're looking in your Zoom toolbar, you will see a chat and a Q&A. Please ignore the Q&A option. I won't be looking at that one. I'll only be looking at the chat. If you have any questions today during at any point of the webinar, please drop those in the chat. I do have some space carved out later during the session to answer those questions live. If for whatever reason I'm unable to answer a question, I promise you I will follow up after the webinar and get you the answers that you're looking for. But a quick kind of zoom out on Copysmith. Most of you that are attending today are probably pretty familiar with Copysmith, but we do have a lot of trial users that join this webinar. So just in case you're getting to know Copysmith still, it's still very new to you, you're comparing it to other products similar to it, a quick kind of overview of what we're about here at Copysmith. So the basics are Copysmith is an AI content generator that supports e-commerce retailers, manufacturers, and agencies. Those customer kind of segments are our bread and butter. We want you to think of us as your AI writing partner that's built to scale your content production. The idea here is that you can give us just a bit of information and Copysmith will produce quality product content on your behalf. So how does that help you? We can help you create product descriptions, social media posts, email subject lines, and so much more at scale. We have customization options for unique use cases. A few metrics that we've heard from customers are a 50% reduction in manpower to create, refine, and edit copy, and a 1,200% increase in Google ad conversions, which is pretty incredible. A few feature favorites are bulk copy, which I'll show you guys here in a little bit. It's a way to create content at scale. We have an API and 10+ integrations that's continuing to grow so that you can bring the power of Copysmith to where you work and live the most. We have an AI image tool for those of you who are really into generative AI art. I'll show you guys a little bit of a demo here in a little bit. And we also have custom templates. So in case you don't see a template in Copysmith that kind of suits your need, we do have some customization options for you. So with that, let me stop sharing my screen and actually jump into Copysmith. You guys bear with me for a moment. All right, so I should be sharing Copysmith now. If for whatever reason you can't see the app, please shout at me in the chat. I'll notice it and fix it. Let's see. All right, so when you first log into Copysmith, this is the screen you will likely see. This is our Create tab. This is where you go to begin creating content. So from this Create tab here, you're going to see a list of templates or use cases that you can choose from. The way to think about these use cases is each of these kind of contains a set of inputs or information that we're going to be asking you to give the AI. And each of these use cases contain a prompt or a set of instructions where we're going to send the inputs that you give it to the AI with a request, basically. That request is a prompt, and then it will give that information back to you based on the prompt and the inputs. So if you're looking at this page here with me, you're going to notice this little editor option here. So we're in a bit of a UI shift at the moment, so you have to bear with us. But the editor is going to be our primary way of creating content moving forward. And we're currently in the process of moving all of these other templates and use cases into that editor. So until that effort is complete, you'll see all of our use cases here that you can explore. But once we finish that migration, you'll likely just see this editor option when you click on Create, and you'll see the view that I'm about to show you here. So let's see. All right, so when I click on editor here, it's going to open up this blank canvas that you see in front of you. And so this blank canvas is where you will see your generations appear, but you can also copy and paste your own content into here in case you want to use the AI to edit it or rewrite it. You can also use this canvas as a way just to draft your documents and then copy and paste them wherever you need them to go afterwards. So over here on the left is where you'll choose your use cases. Each of these use cases is what I was describing earlier. You'll see them in this drop down. You'll see the input or the instruction that you're going to give it. And then you have a variety of settings here at the bottom where you can choose the number of variants, the output language, the creativity, and the tone. So I'm going to start with command copy here. Command copy is a really unique special template that kind of fits a variety of use cases. This is a way for you to ask the AI for anything that you want to. There's very few limitations here, but it is looking to create written copy for you. So a few of the examples that I'm going to give you today are going to be through the lens of someone who's trying to create an Etsy store. So I'm going to show you guys how to create like an Etsy store, like a title for your Etsy store, an about me section for your Etsy store, and then I'm going to show you how to draft some product descriptions or listings for your products. And I'm going to be doing through the lens of like starting an Etsy store, but not everyone here is going to be using Etsy. Maybe none of you are. But whatever store that you're using or platform you're using, you could apply this to your use case. So with this command copy here, I'm going to say, write a list of 10 Etsy store names for a store that sells digital wall art for kids' rooms. All right, so I'm leaving number of variants at 1. Output language is going to be English. My creativity I'm going to keep as ideal. And what I should see here, if my prompt was good, is a list of 10 Etsy store names. If you ever don't see a copy back that you like, chances are that it has to do with your inputs or your instruction. So a little bit of the game of playing with AI and getting used to it is being comfortable adjusting your prompts and giving it a few different ways to interpret what you're giving it so that you get the outputs that you like. So Copysmith can take 10 to 15 seconds here to think, and then we should get this list of store names. Looks like it's thinking a little slow today, but we'll give it another moment. All right, it appears it's struggling here, so I'm going to refresh and we'll try again. All right, so write a list of 10 Etsy store names for a store that sells digital wall art for kids. All right, let's try this again. All right, here we go. So it did give me 10 results back. Kids room, art digital, not a fan of that one. Little room, decor digital. Let's see. Smiling room, art, kids room, digital art gallery, kids room. I kind of like this little room decor. I don't like the digital at the end of it, so I'm just going to get rid of that piece. So you can see here in the canvas, I'm able to get rid of what I don't like. I can highlight this. I have several different adjustments here I can make. I'm going to change this to a heading because this is going to be our store title. And now I'm going to use command copy again to write our About Us section. So I'm going to say, write an About Us section for an Etsy store that sells, for an Etsy store, let's say, named Little Room Decor that sells digital wall prints for kids' rooms. All right, I'm going to ask for 2 variants here. Click Generate. While we're rating, I'm going to go ahead and make a little About Me or About Us header. All right, Copysmith is moving slow today. Apologies, guys, but we do have 2 outputs here. So welcome to Little Room Decor. We are an Etsy store that specializes in offering digital wall prints for kids' rooms. Our prints are available in a variety of colors and styles and sizes. Okay, yeah, I like where this is going. So I'm not going to read through the whole thing. I'm just going to pretend this first one that we really love, but you can see it gave me two different versions that I could choose from. I could piece them together and take, the first paragraph of the first, second paragraph of the second, and stitch it together in a way that I like. But it's giving me a lot of really great raw content to work with, and I can tweak it as I see fit. One little neat trick that I do want to show you here, if you ever get an output that you like a portion of it, but maybe not all of it, you can actually highlight a section of this and click this little improve writing drop down to rewrite it. You can extend it and make it longer. You can even do a plagiarism check. So when I click rewrite here, you'll see the rewritten or the highlighted portion here be rewritten into a different version. And I can do that as many times as I like. I can do it for a sentence. I can do it for a paragraph. You will reach some character limits if you try to do like a long form content rewrites, but you can do a paragraph or a few sentences at a time, no problem. And there we go. So we have this rewritten section here. So next I want to show you guys how to write your product listings. So I'm going to make a little product listings header here. And then I'm going to go to my drop down here. We're going to leave command copy and we're actually going to go to product description. So let's say I have this digital wall print kind of following our theme of this Etsy store here of, this is where I'm going to input my keywords. So I want to describe the product that I'm looking to sell with just a few different keywords or key phrases. I generally would recommend anything from 2 to 7 keywords, any more or any less, and you might overwhelm or underwhelm the AI. So I'm going to do a digital wall print. Separate each of your keywords or key phrases by a comma. I'm going to say this comes in an 8x10 and a 5x7. I'm going to say like a watercolor style. And we're going to say maybe the content is like, I don't know, rabbits. So I have 5 keywords here. I'm going to ask for one variant. Once I click enter, you'll see these little, my keywords become these tags. And then I'm going to click generate. All right, much quicker this time. So bring the beauty of nature into your home with this stunning digital wall print available in both 8x10 and 5x7. It got that perfect. Featuring a watercolor style, perfect. It depicts an adorable rabbits in a natural setting, adding a touch of whimsy and charm to any room. Okay, I love this. So this got it perfect. So you can see within just a few moments here, I've been able to come up with an Etsy store name, an About Us section, and a product listing with very little effort on my part. The AI is really just asking me to put my raw thoughts or raw, a few raw keywords into these fields over here on the left. It'll do the work of creating the copy for me, and then I can tweak it and refine it as I see fit. But it's doing a lot of the work on its own. So now that I've showed you how to do this, I do want to show, before I jump out of the editor here, I want to show you guys a few other tools over here in the sidebar. But quick note, I only showed you guys 2 tools here. So I showed you command copy and product description. There's a lot of other templates to explore here. So if you're first jumping into Copysmith, be sure to check out all the different use cases we have available. There are like 60 plus of them, which can feel a little overwhelming, but they all do something a little bit unique than the others. So be sure to check them all out and try them. All right, so over here in the left sidebar, I'm going to click on this little magnifying glass here. This is our SEO tool. We partner with a sister company called Phrase that specializes in SEO tooling. This is a way for you to type in a long or a short form keyword and get recommendations on SEO ranking here. So, let's say I need help with some SEO optimization for my digital wall prints listings that I'm working on. I can type in that short or long-tailed keyword, and it's going to give me a list of keywords back. So what Copysmith and Phrase is doing is it's looking at the top sites that are ranking for this search term. It's scraping the content that's being used on this website, and it's returning back to me a list of keywords that it recommend me incorporating into my content. And you can see here there's a set of numbers next to each of these keywords. The one on the left is the number of times it's being used in my current print. And over here on the right is the number of times it would recommend seeing that in the output. So if I were to go down here and type the word prints, you can see that it's going to change this to a 3. And as I remove it, it's going to change it back to a 2. So it's not necessarily saying incorporate every single one of these words. It's just trying to make recommendations, and then you can use your best judgment in what you'd like to include. Then it also has this SEO optimization bar here at the top, letting you know when this has been really SEO optimized. So be sure to check this out if SEO optimization is on your radar. Next up is our art studio. So this is where you can go to create AI art. Here in this top field here is where you will type in your description or your prompt, the request you're making for the AI. If you're not quite sure how to do that, because it can be a little tricky at times until you get used to it, just hover over some of these examples here at the bottom. So you can see this one says a tropical island in the shape of a love heart, drone photo, 8K zoomed out, a synthwave style sunset with a racing car, digital art. And you can type in something similar or very different than these and see what it gives you. Every trial and paid subscription to Copysmith will come with a certain number of free credits, so you can try this tool out. But after those run out, you will have to subscribe to the paid add-on, which I'll show you guys how to access here in a little bit. But I do believe it's 120 images every billing cycle that you will have access to when you have that paid add-on. So now I'm going to jump out of the editor here. You'll see the option to save this information if you'd like. I'm just going to discard it for now. But when you save or discard your content, you'll notice that it brings you to the Files tab here. The Files tab is where you will see a listing of all your saved content, so you can easily find it in the future. So the way you can organize and keep yourself organized in Copysmith is through what we call files, folders, and projects. So over here in the sidebar, you see projects. Underneath these projects, you can nest what are called folders, and then within each of these folders, you can save files. So files and projects can be represented by maybe a client you're working with, or a type of content, or just a particular project that you're working on. There's no right or wrong way to do this. So, just do whatever works best for you. You don't even have to use folders. You could just do it in projects, but folders do have to exist within projects. But files can exist in folders or projects. So a lot of flexibility here. So we won't spend too much time here in files. So I'm going to go ahead and jump down here to bulk, which is a really cool tool that we have. I mentioned this at the very beginning in our little PowerPoint, but this is a way for you to create a lot of content at scale. So let's go back to our Etsy store example. Let's pretend I have 100 product listings that I need to go live with. I either need to rewrite existing descriptions or I need to create 100 listings from scratch. Either way, I can use bulk copy for that. So what you'll need to do here is go through and find your use case that is most appropriate for you. I'm going to do product description like we used earlier. So what's required for each of these bulk copy uploads is a CSV file with a certain level of content or a certain amount of content preloaded into that CSV file. If you're ever wondering what information needs to be included in the CSV file, click on the example CSV template and you'll see, you'll get your template and you will see several different column headers. When you go to do the bulk copy upload with your CSV file, you need to have at minimum the amount of information that you're seeing in the CSV file. So for example, you might see product name and product keywords for product description. Your CSV file that you upload needs to include 2 columns that represent those types of information. The headers don't have to be the same. I'll show you in a minute what our field mapping process looks like, but you just want to make sure you have the same number of columns as the template and it's containing the information that it's asking for. But once you're ready, you'll just click create. You'll name your bulk upload. I'm just going to do test here. You'll choose where you want to save it. And you'll choose if you want to have that CSV file automatically download when the bulk copy job finishes. And then you'll move to step 2 of our 4-step process here. This is where you'll change your input and output language. We do support 70 plus languages in Copysmith. You can choose your creativity level, your number of variants, and your content length. If you haven't used bulk copy before, I'd recommend just keeping these as the default. And then click next. This is where you will upload your CSV file. I've got a little test file here that I'll drop in. If it successfully uploads, you'll see this little green check mark here, and then you'll click next step. And this is where it's going to ask you to field map. So you can see first it's asking me for a file name, which it's found. then a company name, which it's found. If it finds the wrong one or doesn't find it at all, you can select a different one. And then click next step, brand keywords, next step. Once it finishes, I won't go through the whole thing here, but I will show you what a completed upload looks like. Once it finishes, you will see this change to a generate button. You'll click generate, and depending on the amount of content that you're looking to generate, this could take seconds or minutes, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes if it's a huge file you're trying to upload. But once it finishes, you'll go to your bulk history tab here, and you'll see a list of all your completed bulk copy jobs. If you didn't click the little checkbox in step 1 to automatically download the results, you can always go here to the 3 dots, export your results to this CSV file, and you'll have a whole spreadsheet full of 100 or however many product listings you needed to create, all in one central place for you. So back to that product listing example, all that I really would have had to do was open up a spreadsheet, create a title in one column, and then create my keywords in another column, upload it to Copysmith, let it process it, and then have 100 descriptions that are all done for me just after giving Copysmith a few inputs for each product. So it could make a really tedious workflow very simple, very straightforward, and just help you be a lot more efficient. So over here in the left sidebar, there are a few other tabs. We're gonna ignore this create and explore because it's going away soon. Super admin, you won't see. I only see that because I'm an internal team member. But I do want to quickly touch on our catalog here. This is a brand new feature, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. It's still in beta, meaning we are still working on a lot of kinks. It's bare minimum right now, but this is a way for you to manage all of your product listings in Copysmith in one central place. So what you'll do here is you'll log in, you'll go to your catalog, you'll create a new catalog, which could be all of your products. It could be a segment of your products. And then when in each of these catalogs, you'll be able to individually or in bulk create new descriptions and rewrite descriptions. And you'll go through a really simple, straightforward bulk upload process to get all your product listings uploaded into Copysmith. So if this is of interest to you, I would love for you to try it out, and I would love to hear your feedback. The good, bad, and the ugly, I want to hear it all. Just email your feedback to support@copysmith.ai, and we would love to kind of chat with you about what you would love to see here. We are open to all ideas. We would love to hear from our e-commerce folk about what they think would be useful, so be sure to check out our catalog feature here. But the last thing that I want to touch on in our last 6 minutes here is this little drop down here in the upper right-hand corner. So if you click your initials, you will see this long, this list of things that you can do. So one, you have your settings where you can go in and tweak a few things about your profile. You have some resources about our API documentation. We have some video tutorials. We have a blog and a knowledge base that you can visit to learn more about us. If you'd like to make any feature recommendations, we would love to hear from you. You can do those here. Under this organization tab, you can access our add-ons, which I'll show you here in a second. You can invite team members. You can review your plan, your billing information. We have a usage dashboard to show you how you're using Copysmith. I do want to jump to our add-ons here real quick to show you how to take advantage of some of these. So when you go to your add-ons section, you're going to see a few different tabs here. Under features, this is where you can add additional team seats and the art studio that I was talking about earlier. We have an integrations and an apps section where you can go to set up these integrations. Depending on the plan you are on, you will see some or all of these. We just came out with BigCommerce last week, which we're super excited about, but be sure to check these out. See which ones appeal to you. Some customer favorites are Chrome extension, Google Docs, WooCommerce, Phrase, and Zapier. If you're anyone that really loves kind of automating your workflows, Zapier may be your best friend, so be sure to check it out. We also have an API. So if you would be interested in our API, you can check out the documentation over here on the left. It's very engineering or developer friendly. They'll be immediately tell you what it's capable of. And if you'd like to get access to the API, you'll have a little purple button here where you can request access. Our team will connect with you and talk about what that could look like, how we can incorporate that into your plan. But with that, that is pretty much most of the content that I wanted to get through today. So let me stop sharing this screen and hop back to our PowerPoint. I do want to open it up to questions. So if anyone here has any questions about anything Copysmith, please go ahead and drop those in the chat now. I would love to hear from you, and I'll kind of sit here silent for a moment and let you guys type away, and then we'll conclude for the day.